The year is 147, the time of the Eastern Han Dynasty. Confucian scholar Wu Liang is reflecting on his life. He knows he hasn't got much time left. He needs to make preparations before his time comes, while he still has time. So he gets to work building an ancestral hall in the graveyard, dedicated to his clan and ancestors. It's going to be his legacy, something for his descendants to remember him by. Now it's 2015. Some things about Wu's home, Wujai Mountain in Shandong, haven't changed. It's still rich in high-grade bluestone. A tenth of the 800,000 who live here make a living from quarrying and working this valuable resource. Wu's been gone for more than 1,800 years now. So too is the ancestral hall he built. Just a few stone carvings remain to remind us of the hall that once stood here. Yet the carvings haven't faded. To this very day, we can still trace on these intricate mazes of elaborate lines back to the days of the Han Dynasty. Home isn't just the place you come from, it's also the place you return to. This is especially so for Chinese people. In today's world, the pace of change is relentless. But the need for a place that offers warmth and a sense of belonging hasn't gone away. It's part of our nature, something that cannot be separated from us, just as the carvings that mark the affections that bound together a clan from the days of the Han Dynasty cannot be separated from the stone.
My name is Wang An Wu. In Chinese we would say Wu Wang An. Wu is my family name. People would ask, even if I say my name is An Wu, they say, oh, where do you come from?
Wong is a freelancer. In the 1990s, she experienced an identity crisis after writing a novel about her grandmother. As her curiosity about her roots intensified, Wong began to explore the history of her clan. All her relatives have high expectations and look forward to hearing what she finds out. However, none of them speaks Chinese, and they know nothing about the clan they come from. All that has been passed down to them are a few photos, but maybe they contain some clues.
Deze foto kennen we allemaal. Dit is de foto van de 14 kinderen en de ouders van de, zeg maar, grootmoedergeneratie. Dit is de grootmoeder van Anne en van Su natuurlijk. En dit is de overgrootvader van Anne. Dat is Chan Jipek.
Tajan Dajie Peak, Yu's great-grandfather, is the earliest ancestor Yu has been able to identify. He was the manager of a sugar factory in Indonesia and had 14 children. But the clues end here. They search on the internet, but nothing new turns up. The fact that they know nothing about traditional Chinese family structure makes their search even more difficult.
I started to research in the Netherlands, but it was really impossible. There are absolutely no records, absolutely nothing.
Migration and integration. People leaving one place and setting up home in another. These issues throw up deep problems of identity and belonging that people have always grappled with. Yu's roots lie far away from her present home, buried deep in time. She will have to dig deep for them if she's to know who she really is. But what will she find? Unsolved mysteries? A reunion? The traditional family is under threat in China today. Ancestral halls have been destroyed, abandoned, forgotten. That means that finding one's roots isn't easy. What's more, the clan and the extended family are becoming less and less important. Nowadays, by far the majority of families are comprised of just 2 or 3 people. As these nuclear families become mainstream, the extended family, the clan, is being forgotten. How can busy, modern people learn about the histories of the clans that were once so important?
那么有些匾额的话是，有些家族在猪圈、在阁楼的楼板，或者是说在取这个仓库的这个门板的时候发现的，裁了1/3的，被火烧的，或者上面有很多动物的粪便的，应该说是伤痕累累。 当我们的祖先留给我们的文化被我们践踏在我们的脚底的时候，作为脚踏板的时候，作为猪圈门的时候，我觉得其实这是一种很悲哀的一种事情。
Boards like these were hung in the ancestral hall. Young Feng's interest in these old and faded things was sparked the moment she stumbled across them. Ever since, she's been an avid collector. A decade on, she has amassed over 700 boards.
小安，哎，这牌匾拿去洗一下。哦，好。这么大块是吧？小心小心，这边要小心点。
清洗的过程当中是花了非常多的精神，它上面有一层非常厚的这种灰尘，或者是说一层油污。
哎，这个用那种湿布擦。
用指甲去抠出来的话，是黑黑的、粘稠的。很多的家族的人，很多的百姓，他并不知道说，啊，有文字的这些匾额，它代表了什么意义。
要放那么重，全部的木板。这个实在的肯定拿掉。
他觉得这个有人喜欢嘛，反正有人要，你有人要，那就卖掉了。 他们是在卖匾，我是在买匾。
These boards used to be hung in ancestral halls in honor of the clan. Sadly, these as well as other customs associated with the traditional clans are rapidly disappearing from people's lives. Even the people living here are unfamiliar with the traditional concept of the clan.
小时候我们把它市区啊，当地的百姓把它就说成是斗鸡台，因为他当时在这个村子挖的水塘里面，大部分都在淤泥里，上面就露出来1米多高，1米多高，它一层一层的，那小孩很容易就爬上去了，爬上去从上头往下跳。
This museum is dedicated to relief sculpture from the Wu clan tomb complex. Stone reliefs dating back 1,800 years ago are kept here. The subjects of the sculptures include gods and other mythical beings, heroes, stories from history, and depictions of everyday social life. These are the so-called stone reliefs of the Han Dynasty.
我们刻的一共分是6个道，实际上54次画像石上面的背景处理比我们刻的还要精细，一共分达到7个道。
Local stone cutter Liang Binggong has been dealing with stone for 40 years. No matter how times change, the hammer and chisel in his hand remain the same. In fact, they are the same as tools used by craftsmen back in the Han Dynasty. Therefore, Liang feels a close connection with the craftsmen of those ancient times.
那种技法，一看那种熟练程度，真正要功夫的，衣领、袖口，哎，会在衣服的这个下摆这个边上，那些斜道的，包括外边的装饰花边，那上面那些道刻的。 确实精美之处真令人叫绝。
The Han Dynasty lasted over 400 years. It was over this period that the Chinese social order was established. Over the centuries, the Wu Liang Ancestral Hall has been destroyed and rebuilt many times. On one occasion, it fell down. On another, it got covered in sand. At one point, it was even turned into a bridge. In today's Wu Liang Ancestral Hall, there are huge stone slabs of various shapes on display. The exquisite reliefs on them show the vigor of the people of the Han Dynasty. It's hard to imagine what went through the minds of people back in the Han Dynasty when they looked at these scenes from daily life. What impression did these complex figures and scenes make on them?
“这些石头之间的联系是什么？在建筑上的配置是什么？这个整个建筑是什么样的？它是为什么来搞这些画的呢？这个画的完了，这个功能是什么呢？这些画都刻在什么地方？你不解决这些问题，你怎么知道这些画像是干什么的呢？”
Wu Liang Ancestral Hall has existed for thousands of years. But the closer visitors get to it, the more likely they are to get lost in this complicated maze. Jiang Yingju first came to this ancestral hall in 1963. Since then, the ancestral hall and Wu Liang have become the principal focus of his research. Jiang hopes that his research will lead to the restoration of the Wu Liang Ancestral Hall. He hopes that examining the ancestral hall from an architectural point of view will give later generations some insights into its meaning and purpose. In 145, Wu Liang was 68 years old. His mother and nephew had passed away. That year, the capital was hit by an earthquake. For Confucian scholars, the quake was a bad omen, a warning from heaven. In his declining years, Wu carefully selected scenes and stories to be carved in the ancestral hall. Each stone relief had its own meaning and contained some family significance. This stone relief is about the union of Fu Shi and Nu Hua. They are depicted as humanoid beings with the tail of a snake and are shown surrounded by clouds and gods. It symbolizes a thriving family. Ancient legend says Fu Shi and Nu Hua are the ancestors of all creatures. Fu Shi unified the whole world and established the rules that govern marriage, clothing, and food. Nu Hua repaired the sky, created human beings, and established the order of nature. They are depicted as a couple in the stone relief. They hold a ruler and a compass, symbolizing their rule over the whole world. The positioning of this relief is significant. It's placed at the beginning of the wall to remind later generations of the natural order of things. Interpreting the meaning of these relief sculptures is the basis of Jiang's restoration of the Wu Liang Ancestral Hall. He believes that the position of each relief is significant to the overall meaning of the carvings in the hall. Analysis of the structure of the building allows Jiang to draw up a plan of the ancestral hall as it was originally laid out that will help students to produce a life-sized replica of an original Han Dynasty ancestral hall. In the Han Dynasty, it was believed that death did not mark, but the continuation of life in another form. In many ways, the use of stone reflects this belief in the immortal soul. Like the soul, stone is enduring, permanent, resistant to the ravages of time, unlike wood or the human body. Therefore, the Wu Liang Ancestral Hall is a symbol of eternity, a legacy to be passed down the generations, unchanged by time. Wong's search for her ancestors is crucial to her sense of identity. Her late father always wanted her to take an interest in her roots and ancestry. Now that she's grown up and entered middle age, she's more sensitive than she was and yearns for the warmth of family life and a sense of kinship and belonging. The urge to discover her roots has become stronger. But after years of searching, she still hasn't made much progress. Just when she feels she's at her wit's end, she finds a photo of her great-grandfather's tombstone. It sheds some light on her search.
Zen.
Zin.
Zen.
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 Heel moeilijk. Zoen. Ja, maar dat is... hoe ik die familie in China heb gevonden is eigenlijk maar één ding geweest. Dat is de grafsteen van Chan Jipek. Dus dat is eigenlijk nogmaals de overgrootvader.
The tombstone tells her when Tujan Dajie Peak, her great-grandfather, was born and when he died. Two distinct characters are carved on it, Long Shan. This means Dragon Mountain in Chinese.
It's something like Dragon Mountain. So what is this? It sounds like a place. Yes, maybe it's a place.
It's a vital clue. You and her husband find out what they can about Longshan on the internet. It's possible that this is the place her ancestor came from. Sadly, in spite of their efforts, they come up with nothing new. But later a comment made by a friend opens up an intriguing possibility. Maybe Longshan is not the name of a place at all. It could be the title of a clan. Titles like this were used to distinguish different clans from each other and indicate the lineage and origin of a clan. They were also used to distinguish different branches of the same clan from each other.
"每一个姓氏都有自己的堂号，这个是用来让自己知道寻根嘛。你通过这个堂号知道自己的这种源流，知道自己的世系。"
Longshan was the title of the Zheng clan. This clan lived in southern Fujian province. These two characters, echoing down the years from great-grandfather to great-granddaughter, call to you and bring new hope to her search. The structure of the Chinese family has evolved over the long course of Chinese history. For example, back in the Qin dynasty, when the country was governed by legalists, small families were the norm. By the time of the Han dynasty, things began to change. Families got much bigger, more extended. In fact, they began to resemble great trees with lots of different branches growing from a common trunk and root. These complex, extended families, bound together by common lineage, developed into the clans. For a Confucian scholar like Wu Liang, filial piety was central to his view of the world. It was vital to respect elders and make sure the family line continued. As the senior member of the clan, he had a special responsibility to do what he could to make sure the clan line went on forever. During the Han Dynasty, the clan also had a religious function. Offering sacrifices to the ancestors was just as much an aspect of filial piety as making sure the ancestral line continued. Indeed, in many respects, it was vital to carry on the family line, precisely so that the ancestral hall could be maintained and the sacrifices to the ancestors continued. Thus, lineage lay at the core of traditional Chinese humanism. So, even though she can't speak Chinese, these two characters from down the generations have spoken to her. At last, her 10-year search for her clan has finally taken a new, favorable turn. Now, she begins to research the Zheng genealogy on the internet. Eventually, she comes across her great-grandfather's name, Tajian Dajie Peak, in some old genealogical records. A village named Hobao in Fujian province pops into view.
En het allergrappigste was, er woont nog steeds familie. Dus dat is familie eigenlijk waar dus in de 19e eeuw een gedeelte naar Indonesië is verhuisd, is een gedeelte daar blijven wonen.
Li works for the shaman branch of the Overseas Chinese Federation. Over the past 30 years, she's helped over 100 overseas Chinese to find their ancestral homes and reunite them with members of their clan. This time, she's helping you.
他的眼睛各方面的应该还是华人，他的女儿就华裔的，华裔，哎，他的爷爷应该这边全部是中国人才对哈。这个于王安，您老辈祖父啊，爷爷吧，啊，哎爷爷啊，这个是爷爷的父亲啊，这个爷爷，所以说爷爷的爷爷，啊，这个建龙嘛啊爷爷的爷爷，您的亚迪啊。
Both the genealogy and ancestral home prove that Yu's ancestors migrated to Indonesia from here. Eventually, the family ended up in the Netherlands.
Gedacht dat wij in het buitenland nog familie hebben. Als er een kans is dat jullie ooit naar China reizen, wij welkomen jullie. Nou, dat is toch een leuke tekst, hè?
At last, Yu finally finds her ancestral home. She's traced her roots back to China. The Tajian or Zheng clan has been reunited with its overseas branch. After 5 generations, a family rediscovers its roots. The genealogical and historical records clearly show the migration routes taken by the Zheng clan. In the 1960s, Yu Wang-an's father, Yu Baolin, left Indonesia to study in the Netherlands. He settled down there after graduation. At the end of the Qing dynasty, Yu's ancestor Zheng Jianzhong left Fujian for Indonesia. In the last years of the Tang dynasty, Zheng Ze's 36th generation descendant, Zheng Yansha, migrated to Fujian and became the ancestor of the Longshan branch of the Zheng clan. In 10 AD, Wong Mang usurped the power of the Han dynasty. Zheng Ze's 15th generation descendant, Zheng Ju, resigned from office and led over 2,000 clansmen on a mass migration from Jiaxiang, Shandong province, to Jian in Jiangxi province. Zheng Ze was from the state of Lu. He is a key figure in the history of Confucianism. All those with the family name Zheng regard him as their ancestor. Zheng Ze's lifelong regard for his mother made him a model of filial piety. The depiction of him in the Wu Liang ancestral hall comes just after that of the 3 emperors and the 5 sovereigns. In the carving, Zheng's mother is shown sitting in front of a loom and looking back at him. Zheng, meanwhile, is down on his knees, receiving wisdom. In Wu Liang's eyes, therefore, he was not only a wise man, but the model of a dutiful son. Filial piety was central to the values of the Han Dynasty, and the ancestral hall was built to embody these values. The Wu Liang Ancestral Hall was the place where the Wu clan offered sacrifices to their ancestors. The humble background of this clan, it remained unknown until the Song Dynasty, when famous scholar Ouyang Shu included its 2 epigraphs in his record of collected antiques. Sadly, the epic, elaborately detailed relief sculptures used by Wu Liang for the Ancestral Hall were out of favor by the time of the Song Dynasty. These rubbings of the relief sculptures were made during the Song Dynasty. To the scholars of those days, they were little more than curiosities, mere footnotes. Rubbing is a simple technique, but it's amazing how much it can tell people about the relief sculptures of the Wu Liang Ancestral Hall. These pieces of paper almost perfectly capture the amazing artistry and craftsmanship displayed on the stones. Shortly after these rubbings were made, the Wu Liang Ancestral Hall was destroyed by a flood. The ruins of the hall were buried in mud, and the reliefs were scattered along the riverbank. In 1876, Wong Yi, an official of the Qing dynasty, passed by. He had the stones dug out of the mud. A keen epigrapher, Wong set himself the task of examining and analyzing the remains of the Wu Liang Ancestral Hall.
他一下逮到这么多的画像，况且这画像有题字，叫榜题，就是跟咱说连环画一样，给一些注说说明谁谁他写着名称，好比吧，是吧？他这个名字写上，他更容易使后人更容易认识这个了啊。
These pieces of the ancestral hall were salvaged by Wong. It had taken 1,600 years to reduce the once solid ancestral hall to a collection of fragments. Developments in printing and publishing have allowed more and more people to appreciate and marvel at the consummate carving skills exhibited in the relief carvings of the Wu Liang Ancestral Hall.
历史故事在无量史上是传国画像史上啊拍的比较最多的一个。 将来的古代的帝王、圣贤、烈女、孝子，表现封建伦理、统治秩序、道德、伦理道德的那一部分非常突出。这正符合无量这个人的这个他的行为、他的生平和他的思想。这个人就是比较守道。
It took Yu Wang-an's ancestors 2 centuries to migrate from Fujian to the Netherlands. But today, it only takes 11 hours to fly from Amsterdam to Xiamen in Fujian province. Yu has spent 10 years preparing for this trip. As she walks out of the airport, everything looks strange, yet warm. She's received by relatives she's never met. To them, she's a family member who has wandered far and wide and returns home at last.
Wow, this is China. That was also a little bit a magic moment. I felt kind of relaxed, very little time to feel comfortable.
欢迎回来。想不到你会回来。来 ，OK。
他也没有想到，他真的能够来到这里。
All those people were standing there. I didn't know. But they were looking very happy. Impressive. There is a contact with people you don't know at all. You only have the genetic connection.
And dan nog heb je de bloemen en zo. Kijk eens.
Dit is de voorvader.
Ja? Ja.
The genealogy is full of the names of members of the Zheng clan. The Chinese characters in it prove the connection between Yu Wang-an and these unfamiliar faces.
Lin Zhou. Ja, dat is de familie. Ja, en hier heb je... Ja, ja.
This ancestral house was built in the mid-19th century and is the last stop in Yu Wang-an's search. Important rituals are held here when descendants of this branch of the Zheng clan have babies, get married, or pass away. The memorial tablets of their ancestors are consecrated here to house the memories of this clan. After much trial and error, the Wu Liang Ancestral Hall is almost finished.
无量寺的屋顶，它的3墙石上都开出来2个水儿，给这个屋顶上面的这个毛，就是挖下去那个毛，扣上，这一扣合，这个屋顶基本上就形成。原来在面朝北在哪放的？我看。
Today, Jiang Yingju is telling his students how to put the ancestral hall together.
把这个对，给这个放对上，后墙是吧？后墙是。打起来了，这个参观，这个当个参观。
The ancestral hall built by Wu Liang is finally complete. Each stone relief is placed in its own unique, correct position. From Fuxi and Nuwa, to emperors and sages, to assassins and loyal officials, and to filial sons and virtuous women, the depictions in this sequence bear a striking resemblance to the depictions in records of the grand historian. When descendants of the Wu clan held sacrificial rituals here, they came face to face with a whole set of values. Officials should be loyal to the emperor and to notions of justice. People should keep their promises, honor their parents, respect their brothers and sisters, and be faithful to their spouses. These are the ultimate standards by which families lived during the Han Dynasty. Wu Liang tried to convey these values to his descendants and fuse them with the continuation of his clan.
在过去，是我对我自己家族的历史确实是一点不了解，自己是哪一支哪一脉的根本都不了解，也就是因为匾额了以后，所以我就会去学习。
所以走这样谁在那走这个谱就是我们广东、福建、江西3省的总谱。你也是？
这边，
你父亲是2
看到了，你看我名字我看到了，这边。
杨勇，杨树。
对呀。
慢点，你不要那么轻的。
这边2世，然后就
3世、4世、5世，这里就往下排了。
8世、9世、10世、11、12世。
这一张的图谱记载了一个家族它的脉络，而且当我细细去看的时候，它用了丝线刺绣，有些是用非常细小的朱红的这个笔去画上去的一个世系脉络。 一张一张细细的这个支流啊，红色的，就相当于我们身上流着我们祖先的鲜血。我就在想，哦，原来我的祖先，他的名字是什么？他生于哪一年？我就在想，这100-200年，然后我们这一个家族就这样子繁衍下来了。虽然说是短短的1-2行字。 但是至少表明这是一个人曾经存在这个世界上，我觉得这是一个非常神奇的、非常奇妙的一件事情。
Wat geweldig om jullie allemaal te ontmoeten, familie.
非常的了不起，在这里见到你们，我的亲戚们。
Onze nieuwsgierigheid naar onze voorouders in China heeft ons hier gebracht.
是我们对来自中国的祖先的好奇， 把我们带到这里来了。这个木的大是一直到那。
Dankzij de oude traditie.
感谢古老的中国文化传统，为子孙后代保存了我们的族谱。感谢网络，让我们能询问到我们的后爸。
过来一个，真的。
Dit willen we aan iedereen die hier belangstelling voor heeft vandaag laten zien.
这本相册就是他们在国外有跟他们真丝的族亲有联系的那个相片，他要把这本相册作为礼物送给我们的族亲们。
Anne started her 10-year search by accident. Because of her efforts, 5 generations of the Zheng clan have been reunited after more than a century of separation. Their common inheritance has at last brought them together again. In 151, Wu Liang passed away. It's not known how the Wu clan offered sacrifices to this virtuous man, or whether his thoughts and ideas were passed down through the generations. Over 1,800 years have passed. The people who lived here have experienced reunion and separation countless times. Through this small ancestral hall, we are able to touch the simple, enduring seed sowed by the people of the Han Dynasty and rekindle ancient memories of home.